Hello everybody. Thanks for coming yet again to another LBX stream. I hope the music sounds alright and that you can hear me alright. And I'll get with the painting now, I think. Hello. I don't have any carbonated drink tonight, I just have a on-brand Gundam tea. How's everyone doing tonight? Hello, Clifford. You have a question? Here's just, I guess a preview of what we're going to be working on tonight. I think what we're going to start with is I'm going to redo the edge highlight on the black parts because my green experiment didn't work. So we're basically just going to be edge highlighting the black with just a regular black in this field blue, which is kind of a really gray blue. Is it possible to hand brush primer onto a kit? Yes, it's possible. It's just very tedious and pretty inefficient. But it's doable. You just need a lot more patience, and the results probably won't be as good. Probably not the... It's a bit of a disappointing answer, but it's the truth. Okay, I think we'll do the black edge highlighting on everything, and then that'll take up a decent chunk of time, and because there's way too much shading to get all the shading done tonight, but I feel like it shouldn't be too bad to get all the black edge highlighting done, so we'll definitely do that first. Mirai, it's 5 AM here in Finland. I didn't know you were in Finland. Keep waking up every 2 hours. Your second shot. Well, that just means it's working, hopefully. Well, I'm glad you can come anyways. Yeah, Clifford, there's precautions you have to take with using spray paint primers as well, but that'll definitely be easier than hand painting. So just look up some, do research on how to properly paint whatever you're gonna paint with the rattle cans. Hello, Bo. Thanks for coming. Alright. Anyways, let's do the black edge highlighting. Running out of space on the wet palette, kind of, because of the, failed green experiment, but it'll be fine. I just gotta be more conservative than I usually am with my wet palette paint placements. It's 10 AM here in the Philippines. Well, don't know what you're doing today in the Philippines, but hopefully I can be some good streaming content to have on for you. Thanks, Andrew. I put a lot of thought into picking the music for the stream. This is only the third stream that's used, the LBX kit has been the first thing I've streamed with the new music, and I've been pretty satisfied with it. So I'm glad you like it too. And you can see I put a bit too much paint on the palette already after saying I was gonna be careful. It's because it squirted out of the bottle weird, okay? The first round of edge highlighting is the really messy one, or the really thick one, so I use the thickest brush that I have handy at the moment, because it's just kind of the foundation for the crispy edge highlight. And that gray is almost as black as I wanted. I just need to add a little bit more black, I think. Sounds good, Clifford. Almost there. Okay, I like how that's looking. I guess the way the light's reflecting on the paint on the palette, it's hard for you all to see exactly what it looks like. But you'll see it when it gets put on the model. Hopefully. Let's start with the leg, because it's a bit smaller. It'll help me get into the groove easier. Well, it's a good thing I didn't paint anything more on this model with the weird green edge highlighting I was going for. It's almost like I had a hunch it might not look that good. And this Army Painter matte black usually is like pretty weak on the pigments, so I'll probably have to do 2 passes on some of these parts. I don't totally hate the way the green looks, but it just clashes too much with the other colors. So maybe that green can be tried out on another project sometime. Damien, you're wondering if I find it easier or harder to paint Gunpla over minis? That's a good question. Kinda depends on what mini I'm painting, because with minis it can range all over the place. Like, it's a lot different painting the Scorn I have versus the Lizardmen I have. And with the painting Gunpla, do you mean like brush painting Gunpla? Because sometimes I paint Gunpla more like leaning a lot more onto the airbrush. And I don't know, it's hard to pick a favorite. Like, I definitely prefer working with a paintbrush over an airbrush. And I don't know, between painting minis and painting Gunpla, it kind of depends on what my most recent projects are. Like, if you ask me right after I've painted a Gunpla, I'll probably say minis, and then the same thing goes if I had recently painted a mini, I might say Gunpla. I tend to like need to switch between projects often like that to stop myself from getting burnt out. It works pretty well for me. I think I talked about that a bit on my interview on the Gunpla Talk Show, which is now available to watch on YouTube. Look at that segue. So if you missed the interview, you can go to Gunpla Talk Show's channel and watch it. Yeah, Damien, like a Gunpla is like, you like almost most of the time they'll be a lot bigger and like a bigger project in general compared to minis. But minis, sometimes you have to paint a whole unit, so that can take as long as a Gunpla project. And Ethan, you're asking if I'll do something for Gamma Wolves with a Gundam Build Fighters kit. Good question. I don't know. Maybe I'll have some Build Fighters pieces in the next kit bash I do. Don't know. That one I'll just leave it as a surprise. Or a disappointment if I'd never use any Build Fighters parts. Don't have any current plans for anything Build Fighters specific though. And Mirai, congrats on ordering an RX-78-2. Good luck with that. And hello Jap, thanks for coming. Yeah, if you got a Char Zaku, you gotta put an RX-78 next to it. It just makes sense. Okay, I think let's just mix in a bit more gray and do the next level up of edge highlight. This leg only has 2 black sections. It's pretty easy. Yeah, I'll probably do just 2 quick rounds of highlighting after this with the smaller brush. And that should be about the extent of what I'm going to do with the black parts on this kit, because I don't want to distract too much from the colorful bits. Yeah, Mirai, I think the entry grade RX-78-2 isn't, like, it's pretty close in terms of quality to the real grade, so I think I wouldn't worry about that. And also, if you're in Finland, you should watch Gunpla Chef's YouTube videos. You might recognize some locations in his videos, because he's in Finland too. And yes, the Orc Gundam. I think I had a conversation on stream before about Orc Gundam and you doing some sort of Zaku conversion. Oh yeah, that's looking much better. Much better. Yeah, Char Aznable's plan to drop, like, crap on the Earth and just ruin the Earth, that's a very Orc plan in spirit, you could say. Wait, that's not the color I want to mix in, it's the gray. Oh, that sounds cool, Andrew. Alright, now we'll move to the middle brush out of the 3 I've got out right now. Yeah, Damien, there's a few orc things that aren't there orc units just called mechs? Or mech boys or something? I like playing Xenos, but not like orc Xenos. More of a Tau or a Drukari boy myself. the mech boys. Are those like mechanics or like orcs and orc mechs? Yeah, I mean, there's a reason the orcs have just been going strong with their orky thing for all these years in 40k. It's a solid concept. Just their technology shouldn't work, but it does just by the sheer force of their orky willpower. What's not to love about that? And I think we need to put just a little bit of white to mix in on the palette for the last crispy edge. Let's just put it over here, because you know I like to squirt way more paint than I actually need on my palette sometimes. Oh, okay. Yeah, so the mech is more for mechanic then. Yes, I like the Death Dreads and Killicons. I always appreciated running into the orcs and when I was playing the campaign in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2, because their tactic was always just to bum rush and smash their ships into you. It was a nice change of pace when you're just fighting a lot of chaos, you know? Can't remember if they're easier or harder to deal with than Tyranids, because the Tyranids in that game have a similar play style to the orcs, in that they're like close quarters oriented. Alright, I think that's pretty solid highlight on that for now. Yeah, I'm torn as to whether I want to keep doing black edge highlights after I've done these two pieces that are kind of, the highlights are kind of started on them. Or to just go finish the black highlight on all the pieces first. Yeah, exactly, Damien. They all just have to believe. Yeah, Mirai, I would pick Chaos Space Marines over the Orcs, because I prefer the edginess a bit more, but speaking of edginess, I think I would, at the end of the day, I would go with Drukhari, because they're pretty edgy. Time to mix some more of that dark gray. Without turning my wet palette into a total disaster. We're getting there. need a little bit more field blue. Just stealing some from the rim of the bottle, not actually squeezing the bottle. An orc wog that travels through the warp and ends on a planet belonging to Korn. Oh, I'm sure the orcs had fun with that. Alright, this arm has a bit more previous paint to cover up. Gonna be a bit more involved. And like I said in the other streams, this is like a pretty experimental project, so I don't care too much about just straight up painting over the stuff I don't like. I'm not worrying about unwanted texture and all that. I gotta finish this project and move on to the next one. I can't leave that thick dinosaur Grimlock and his rider Krokgar neglected forever. Plus all the upcoming videos I have planned. I'm gonna be saying that for the entirety of my YouTube career. When I started in the first stream I did, jokingly called someone in chat called it the shirt stream because the colors I picked for this model were the same colors that happened to be on my shirt at the time. I was a little on the fence about the colors I chose then, but now that I've solidified my choice of black highlight, I'm really digging it, how it's all turning out. Really looking forward to doing the finished shots of this. Oh, that sounds like a great orc retirement, Damien. I hope the orcs were very content. Oh, paint's getting a little thin. Andrew, I usually aim for about 2.5 hours for the streams. Some of them are closer to like 2 hours and 15 minutes though. I think the last one was 2 hours 17 minutes. I generally go until I get a little painting fatigued. Or sometimes, like, if I'm gonna reach a natural stopping point, like finishing a section's colors or whatever, I'll stop then. I try to give estimates throughout the stream, judging on how I'm feeling. But we're only just getting started now, that's for sure. I'll have to come back to that area and do another coat of this dark color, because that green's still showing through. Oh, perfect. I'm glad it works out with the length of your shift like that. Yeah, as I'm painting the black on this shoulder part, you can see how there's one extremely rough highlight on the gold section a bit already, so you get just a peek at how just messy they look when they just get started. Model Mayhem style, more like show all the brush strokes style. Or I guess you'd just say like having lots of brush strokes style. Alright, I can move up to the next step. Well, Ethan, the thing about Gamma Wolves is it's like a tabletop game that doesn't care too much about like the nitty-gritty details of what exactly is on your model. You know, a lot of the time, depending on who you're playing with, you know, you could improvise the weapons that are like on your mech. Like I know he's got like two, or like Wing Zero has the 2 machine guns on his shoulders or on his chest or whatever they're called. It's like he's got 2 here on the model, but in terms of the game rules, I'm playing that, or like his weapon loadout is just that he has 1 machine gun. And you know, a lot of times in situations like that, you just kind of figure out the house rules with your opponent, and it's not really in the spirit of the game to be like, oh well, you can't have that weapon because the way it looks on your model is this way. In terms of like using the Tri-Burning Gundam with parts with heavy arms and Wing Zero, you know, that's just like with kit bashing, anything's possible. There's so many different combinations, you know, most of the time you can make it work with enough experimenting. So I'd like focus on making a kit bash that's good and that you like it. And like if you want to make sure you build it in a way that's like works well with the Gamma Wolves rules, go for it, because it can be a cool, like adding limitations like that can be a cool way to figure out what kind of kit bash you want to do. But if you don't like do it according to Gamma Wolves, that doesn't necessarily mean you won't be able to use that model in a game of Gamma Wolves. So, you know, just like focus on the kit bash as a kit bash that is going to be used for Gamma Wolves, or a kit bash that could be used for Gamma Wolves, and not like a kit bash specifically for Gamma Wolves, unless you want to give yourself the creative limitations. so to speak. Like when I planned some of my Gamma Wolves mechs that I've painted, I definitely took the Gamma Wolves rules into consideration because, you know, I already had the book on the shelf, so as I'm kit bashing, I can also like quickly flip through the book and figure out if like the bits I'm using are in line with the kind of mech I wanted to build in the game. So I don't know, hopefully that advice helps. It was a bit of a ramble, I think. Like this Fenrir I'm painting right now, I'm not intending on using it for Gamma Wolves, but if I really wanted to, I could. It's like you can use random toys for Gamma Wolves too if you want. Like it doesn't all have to be the same scale. It's like you just have to be creative and make your team of mechs however you feel like it. And, you know, it's with enough rules in place to have a functioning game that's not broken on top. But like the game Gamma Wolves itself is like supposed to be post-apocalyptic and all that. And like the way I paint my mechs, that's not really in what you think of when you think of post-apocalyptic, and no one's given me grief for that, so if that goes to show how much room for creativity there is in the game. That line was a bit too harsh. I'm probably highlighting these fingers too much at this point. Let's move on to the next part. Yeah, that's what's good about streams, Ethan. You can kind of talk to people with a delay in between, but I'd say it still counts. And yep, Gunpla's definitely freedom. I'm honored that you say I'm one of your favorite YouTubers. Don't know if this highlight is bright enough. Yeah, you know what? I don't think it is. We need some more field blue. And let's start at the top this time instead. Gotta remember that if I'm painting it on and it looks too bright, that's probably fine because it always darkens down a bit once it dries. down to the wrist. Gotta make sure I don't highlight the parts that should be shadow. Like on the bottom of the arm. No, don't worry, Cluster Hopper, just don't get rid of them. You'll use them eventually. Maybe check in on them every year or so to make sure they haven't dried up. And then maybe every time you check on them, you'll feel more pressure to paint until eventually you do. Ethan, I know there's a lot of gunpla with swords. The Carta's Grays here comes with a cool sword. Just see what your local hobby shop or wherever you shop has to offer. Oh yeah, Andrew, that's right. That one does also have a good sword. Blue Parappa has that kit. Yeah, that's a pretty nice sword as well. Can confirm. Oh my, the draft blew up in my door. Let me just close that real quick. Okay, I'm back. Back to highlighting. I just gotta get comfortable here. Well, Jap, with some brushes of your own, you can. Just need a little brush, or a little bit of courage and some brush and paint. And just accept the fact that you might ruin some kits. That's why you have cheap LBX kits to practice on. Come on, camera, focus. Okay, I think we can move on to the next round. Add some more field gray. How much of the paint water brush flicking ASMR gets picked up by the mic? I'm wondering. I don't know if milk has anything to do with it, Ethan, but thanks for the encouragement. A balanced diet in general is good for painting Gunpla, because being healthy is good. I could probably even switch to one brush smaller than this, I think. I'll just wait till I use up this paint on the brush right now. Yeah, let's go one size smaller. And now I really got to be thinking about what direction the light is coming from and all that. Sorry, I'm just getting in the zone here, trying not to make mistakes, you know? The more painting I do on this, the more precise I have to get. Or the further it gets, or the closer it gets to being finished, the more precise I have to get. Alright, now just gotta do them fingers. And I guess one more round of edge highlights after that with some white mixed in, probably. Alright, thanks for stopping by, Ethan. Have a good one. Yeah, I think I'll probably finish this arm and the leg each fully to completion before I move on to the other black edge highlights. I think that'll make for better streaming content tonight. Oops, I'm out of focus again. I don't know how long that was going for. Typical. Painting minis on camera is kind of similar to singing while playing guitar. You gotta think about multiple things at once, or like remember multiple things at once. Making sure you're putting the paint in the right place and that you're still holding the mini in a place where the camera will focus on it. It ain't easy. I'd say like playing guitar while singing though is probably harder overall, coordination wise, or it's more complicated coordination wise. I don't know if you comparing it to mini painting or model paintings doesn't quite work. Anyways, that tangent's over. One more highlight. And then we'll probably maybe do some purple glazing. That sounds fun. Or we'll at least get started on the purple glazing. So I think I'll have to do the finishing touches of the purple glazing last, just because I want it to be, that's what I want to have the glowing effect. So we're going to want that purple light spilling out onto the other colors. Not too crazy of a glow though, just similar to what I did on my goof and all the other ones. Alright, that's probably good enough. For that black edge highlight up there. Yeah, moving to this combination of, what is it, field blue with the black is way better than the green I was mixing with it before. But yeah, I don't regret doing it. It was a experiment worth making, I think. Oops, I'm out of focus. Just painting some nails, you know? Where's Blue Parappa when you need her? Alright, let's call this black done. Glad you agree, Andrew. As much as I do want to do this purple right away, I think it's probably more important to finish the other colors first. And the teal was close to being done. So let's just finish up the teal first. In terms of the teal on this arm, I think yeah, we do need to work on the gradients a bit. Just a bit though. So let's just take baby steps, use the glaze medium, and get to work on that. For the very second pass on this though, don't think I'll use any glaze medium. Just a bit of water. I think I want to use the middle brush for this one. Yeah, Kotobukiya has some cool looking stuff. Not a lot of stores in my area. Or I don't see a lot of stores in my area with Kotobukiya, unfortunately. So this is basically the second pass at all the highlights, so I'm just kind of reinforcing and solidifying the transitions with what's already here. And I should probably paint the leg at the same time if I can. I think with how my workflow goes, it might be easier for me to just finish this arm than do the leg. I think my brain likes the sound of that a bit more, TBH. I don't think it matters to y'all watching much. The show will stay the same either way and continue to be painting. And this is also my chance to double check my shading placement. and make sure it's like, it makes sense with where my light source is and all that. I don't aim for like 100% accuracy, I just aim for it looking good. Because I'm painting a cool wolf robot, I don't really feel like making it super realistic, you know? Camera, why aren't you focusing? I should check where I put the autofocus point. I just need a bit more here. And now with the scaly green that's still on the palette there, we're gonna mix in some arcane blue, which is one of the colors I use on the bases of my Gamma Wolves teams. Leftover Zoid weapons, that's cool. Clifford, my wet palette is not DIY. I'll show you the logo in a sec. I need a bit more scaly green in there. Oh, and I will have to start using glaze medium now. This is the P3, Formula P3 wet palette. It's a company that makes War Machine and Hordes. I only got this just because of the game store I used to work at. It was what they had. And I ran painting demos there, so I needed a wet palette. And yeah, I mean, this one's good, but for the price I paid, like building a DIY one would have been a lot cheaper and would have done the same thing. So I definitely recommend building a DIY wet palette. But if you want to spend money on a wet palette, there are a lot of like nice wet palettes out there. If you want to splurge, they're a very useful tool. So, you know, sometimes it's nice to spend a bit of money on some nice tools to use to help you enjoy your hobby experience. But sometimes, you know, you gotta pinch the pennies and save money in every way you can. And making a DIY wet palette is a good way to do that. And Jap, you're wondering what the most challenging part to paint in a kit? Well, when I'm painting in model Mayhem style, the most challenging parts are probably like large curved areas. Like here, I kind of messed up the shadow placement. I'm gonna have to redo that. It's just like hard to figure out how things are gonna go sometimes. And also, you know, sections where I have to paint a lot of like really straight lines and it gets really intricate, and where I know it's gonna get really tedious. Sometimes those can be challenging to paint just because they take a long time, and you know, if my wrist gets sore, then that'll slow me down. Yeah, Andrew, that's like a nice simple DIY wet palette right there. Yeah, there's too many things to splurge on, Clifford. What's up, Sizzle? Thanks for coming. Yeah, Amazon Cyber Scorpio 94. The Amazon prices for model kits just in general can be so all over the place. I usually don't order from there. But I suppose if there was something I really wanted to try and get, it would make sense to go there. Oh right, I said I was gonna mix in some glaze medium. Whoops. Let's do that. Yeah, wet palettes, when I discovered them, they're revolutionary for me. I love using wet palettes. Watch me just build up a highlight that I'm like, now I need to do a third pass to go back to what I had before, because I took away too much of the gradient I liked. Wouldn't be the first time. I think it's time for more arcane blue. Yeah, there's just worldwide shipping in general for all industries is pretty rough right now. But not much we can do about it. Yeah, I'm definitely like hoping I don't have to wait too long for my real grade high new Gundam, but I won't be surprised if I have to wait a long time for it. And yeah, there's so many different Gundam stores out there. There's like a store that's the best fit for... Well, there isn't a store that's the best at anything. Every store has their own individual strengths and weaknesses, and it's up to you to decide what store you want to order from. I don't have any particular links I can, or affiliate codes I can spam you with right now. Supperfish, you binged watch a bunch of episodes. Why, thank you. Thanks for stopping by for the stream, I appreciate it. Yeah, I don't really pre-order stuff. Or like I told my local shop guy that I wanted the real grade high new. I guess that's a pre-order, but other than that, I haven't really done much pre-orders. I try to shop through local stores in my area whenever I can. Not exclusively, though. I don't shop at any store exclusively. Just don't get into any heated arguments over stores in the chat. That's why I was trying to explain why everyone has like a store that's the best fit for them, and it's up to you to figure it out yourself. Just let people, it's like that Android versus iPhone thing. It's like, yes, I'm sure you have valid arguments for why one is better, but just let people use whatever phones they want. I'm glad I've heard multiple people say that they've binged watched my videos, because it's always been the hope when I like make the playlist and stuff and be like, oh, well, now the videos will just autoplay if someone wants to like binge them all. So I'm glad some people have actually done that, whether it's using the playlist or not. I'm just glad that people watch my videos, you know? Thanks. It's very important to my success. Yeah, the important part is just being friendly with the local store owner, Andrew. And yeah, assuming they're friendly back. It's never fun when you go to a store and the owner isn't friendly. Okay, let's add more arcane blue. Ah, some Graze kits. I'm jealous. The Graze kits are great. I was really happily surprised when I built the Carta's Graze and I saw how many extra bits it came with. Gotten so much mileage out of that one high grade. Oh, that's awesome, Andrew. What's your Gamma Wolves crew gonna be like? I think we just need a tiny bit more scaly green and glaze medium. Two drops of glaze medium. Because we're really glazing now. And yeah, I think we still want to use the middle size brush. Yeah, the Japanese, or I can't, no, they're not called the Ronin, but I know which one you're talking about. Oh, old Transformers, yeah, those would be fun to use for Gamma Wolves. Good idea. I wish all the Iron-Blooded, or like most of the Iron-Blooded Orphans kits were easier to find though, Sizzle. I need more of them. There's never enough. Yeah, Cyber Scorpio, those are the popular ones I always hear about as well. I feel like this mix is lacking just a bit more arcane blue. I should probably add some. I will do that in the next pass. It's all about multiple passes here. Making sure I don't touch the wet paint. Very important. I don't know how much more I need to do to the hand. Just a little bit. Okay, now for the last or second last. Kit badged SpongeBob figures, that sounds pretty epic. I'm into that. Should definitely follow the creator of Gamma Wolves, Ash Barker, and tag him in pictures of your eclectic Gamma Wolves crews when they're done. I don't know if he's a SpongeBob fan, but if I get a kick out of using the SpongeBob figures, maybe he will. I've never really talked with him directly, so I wouldn't know. Ah, excellent, Ethan. Good job harvesting the forbidden sprinkles. And congratulations on finishing your 00 razor. I don't know if it's Razor or Riser. I haven't gotten that far in 00. Yeah, I'm worried this section of the arm here, it's like too flat. It doesn't have enough of a gradient. We'll have to see what that looks like when it dries. Well, I'm afraid this will be the second last pass after all, not the last pass. Right, can't forget the top of the shoulder. Whoops. This is the most crucial and most difficult part of the blending stage. Is just to figure out how much blending you need, you know? Okay, I think that it's mostly just this section of the arm that needs work. And maybe we just need a little bit more scaly green up there. Oh, hey, Jason, thanks for coming. Stram's going all right. Just trying to do all my typical gradients all over this mech, or wolf robot thing. Alright, let's catch up on these messages. Have I managed to play any games of Gamma Wolves yet? No, where I live, the COVID situation is not permitting for tabletop games currently. Despite being double vaxxed, that's how the variants be. I don't have any time to play right now anyways. Don't worry, I gotta remember to take some pictures and post about it when I actually do play a game. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have gotten into Gamma Wolves if it wasn't an agnostic miniatures game, so that's definitely it. Like, I can definitely see the argument for that being its strongest factor. Full Metal Kyle. What's that? Or I guess this thing I'm painting right now, it's not part of the Monster Energy Marines. Maybe it's like sponsored by Fox Motocross or something, because it's kind of like a wolf lupine looking thing. It's called the Fenrir. Thanks for coming by, Mr. Givens. And thanks again for that Monster Energy name generator comment on that my last video. It was very, very good. Probably add a bit more glaze medium. Now let's clean up this blend. Probably clean it up a bit up here too. All right, now I think we just need like an almost pure arcane blue highlight. And then we can do the final edge highlight on the turquoise sections here. Unless I feel like moving over to the leg section or switching to gold maybe. I'll assess the paint situation on the palette once I'm done. Yeah, Stargrave's pretty cool, Sizzle. I almost picked up Frostgrave a couple times. Seemed like a cool game. Oh, a cell shade or a 2D type scheme. No, I haven't. But my like model Mayhem painting style, I would say, is definitely influenced by other painters I've seen do the cell shading style, or like comic painting style, like Epic Duck Studios, if you know him. Or there's this one Instagram page. I wouldn't say I try to emulate his style a lot, but maybe his photos inspire me to like paint in a way that makes me think of a 2D image. This page called Normal Gunpla, and then of course Sanosuke as well. Big influence, which I've said before. But I definitely like it when I get feedback where people, like when they look at pictures of my models, when they say it looks like a piece of art or something, like it looks like a painting sense. I definitely would say I kind of try and go for that. tore up a bit of paint there accidentally. It's a bit of a bummer. Well, that's on the underside of the arm though, it's not even gonna be noticeable. He says. Not knowing that he just revealed the secret to everybody. I mean, if you want the secrets to be revealed, just zoom into my photos and you can see all the mistakes. Or zoom into any of your favorite builders' photos. You might see a few nubs here or there. You know, none of us are perfect. We're all just here hobbying the way we like to. Okay, I think that's good enough for the glazing on the turquoise. What's our palette situation like? Well, let's start working on the highlights on the leg just while this purple or this turquoise is still on the palette. Then we'll probably switch to the gold on the arm and finish that up. Now, comparing these two blends, I don't, hold them more like this. Oh, well, this one doesn't have the edge highlight on. I'm just worried that the edge or the glazing done on here is like too contrasty compared to this, but I think it'll be fine. This one isn't done yet even, so it's this area here around the rivet that I realize should be darker. It's a mistake I made earlier, so I can at least start working on that now. Yeah, I think there's some videos for painting in that style on YouTube that I've seen, but I know one of them was like more focused on using markers than paint. But yeah, it's definitely an underrated style of customization, I think. That is not dark enough. Well, I guess I'll just work on the brighter side of the glaze for now. Start at the top. Yes, I know how you feel there, Andrew. Do a nice curvy curve there. Paint a curvy curve here. Yeah, this is like, just the way this panel is, it's hard for me to figure out where I want all the gradients to go, you know? Yeah, I think we just need this darker one here. Yeah, exactly. No, Mr. Givens, it doesn't lend itself to realism, but it looks good. I'm not going for realism with my painting, so I agree with that. I'm painting mechs that wouldn't be able to exist in real life because of physics, so who needs realism? And I try to make the direction the highlights go be realistic, but I only try so hard. Call me a heretic if you want. Yeah, I think we've pretty much used most of the turquoise there on there. So we're gonna change gears to, what's it called again? Baylor brown with some glaze medium. Oh, those sound like some really cool jesters. I have never bought or like looked at where to buy stencils like that before, so I can't help you. But you know, you could always cut it out yourself with some like determination and a ruler. But stencil sounds way more enjoyable if you can find one. I think what I'll do first for the Baylor brown, or we'll just do straight Baylor brown, and we'll use it to kind of block or like reinforce the blocking in I started on this before it for like the middle part of the gradient, because the top end of the gradient will be mixing in this golden yellow, and then to connect it to the bottom end of the gradient we'll also be mixing in snakebite leather at some point. But it's pretty much the same process as doing the turquoise, just different colors. I'd rather hand paint than cut the stencils. Yeah, fair enough. Well, it's something like stencils. Those like can fit in an envelope and shipping, so there's probably some boutique hobby supply company online somewhere that sells something like that. Or maybe even just go into like some kind of art supply store where you are, they would have stencils in there, but you're kind of like not guaranteed that they would have a specific scale pattern stencil. Okay, time to think about gradients again. Got a little particle stuck to the end of the brush there. This highlighting feels less stressful than the turquoise so far. It's probably just because it's the smaller sections. Yeah, let's do that. Just look at those smooth brown blends already. I think I'll start at this middle one here. Yeah, the light would go here for sure. And fall, and then probably come back here. Okay, I can definitely see there's some texture in this shoulder here, perhaps from some damage. Oh well. Yeah, I guess it makes sense that the highlight would land there. Okay. Okay, let's just wrap around. Okay. Now let's start working up to golden yellow, because we're probably gonna do a loop around back to snakebite leather, then back to golden yellow for the last one. Thoughts on a Chaos Zaku? It's called a goof. That's a good one. Bloodthirster wings replacing the axe, giving more chaos spikes. Yeah, I mean, sounds pretty good to me. Yeah, and you know, pick the chaos god of your choosing. If you pick Corn, it'll be... I feel like when you pick Corn as your chosen chaos god, you know, your aesthetic is pretty straightforward. To be like, just make it really bloody. Just add a lot of blood and skulls. I don't know, I'm more of a Zintra Slanesh guy myself. Yeah, I guess the way a lot of the Zakus have like tubes going into their face, that looks fairly Space Marine-y or just Emperor's Children-y, you could say. Okay, so now we've just mixed in some golden yellow into the, what was it, Balor brown? I am still gonna do the final like edge highlighting on the teal. I just wanted to like get the gold gradients blocked in first in case I made a ton of mistakes. Yeah, and I gotta figure out what to do about this bottom section here. It's probably gonna be more shading, but only with snakebite leather and a little bit of Balor brown. Probably won't use much golden yellow there. Okay, let's see, do we mix in, I think we mix in a bit of snakebite leather now. And if I was taking this non-metallic metal gold, which is basically what I'm doing seriously, I would have bought some different paints, but I'm just kind of working within the paints that are already in my collection for this project. I think I need a bit more glaze medium, actually. A real builder would fare if he scanned an abandoned Space Marine version of a Plague Marine. That would be interesting. All the people who don't know get Chaos Space Marines in the competition would be very panicked at this very pussy mech that suddenly shows up. And yes, just like the turquoise stage, this involves a lot of just going back and forth until you got those gradients just the way you like them. Yeah, I don't think any of the Gundam pilots would be ready to deal with the bioweapons, honestly. I think I need to just make a bit more wet palette real estate here. Let's just mix what's already here together. Yeah, we should probably go back to the middle brush, I think. Yes, Papa Nurgle would be proud of this fanfic. Yeah, the color I put on before this was just a little too orange. It's probably because there's too much golden yellow mixed in with the snakebite leather. I'm just playing it too loose with my mixes as usual. I ain't gonna stop. Okay. Now let's go all the way back to the bottom and start working our way back up. Starting with snakebite leather. And this, no, we will use glaze. I was gonna say we won't use glaze medium with this one, but we will at this point. And we're almost at the 2-hour mark. The time's just been flying by. I must be enjoying doing all this shading. Oh, well, thanks for staying as long as you did anyways, Jap. Have a good one. Thanks again for coming. I don't have anything planned for Wogvember or October because I don't have any orcs. I don't even know what my life's gonna be like in October, and that's like next week. I know the Cerulean project submissions are due on November 1st, so I'd like to be working on that in October, but I'm waiting on some stuff to be figured out, so I don't even know what I'm going to be doing in October, really. It's hard to plan ahead more than like a couple weeks for me personally at this point. It's not ideal, but you know, it's just the way things are. Whoops, I touched a wet spot. That's not good. Yeah, the snakebite leather got a little contaminated again, I think. I think it was just at the top sections there, so let's just add a bit more. That's it. I appreciate that mentality, Mr. Givens. That's thinking like an orc. Yeah, you should do that, Andrew. I'm like kind of half wet blending this section here. We need stronger blends. Stronger. I've lost my way because I need more Baylor Brown in the mix. Let's just mix it here so we don't get too much of the yellow in there. And I think we need a bit more glaze medium. You want to use a Converge Gundam to add a few orc guns and rivets? Yeah, that'd be fun. That sounds like a complex project, but worth the effort. That would turn some heads. Congrats, Andrew. I always enjoyed getting off 15 minutes early. Yeah, so the way the orange looks on the shoulder pad, I'm not a huge fan of that. But I guess I just need to use less of the yellow. The golden yellow. That's my main issue. What you're all watching right now is very much experimental trial and error, because I haven't painted this color combination before. I'm enjoying it though, don't worry. Yeah, I don't need to worry too much about the underside of the pauldron, really. I don't think many people are going to be looking at that spot. Yeah, that's true. 15 minutes isn't nothing on the paycheck. tan, dark yellow, and gray. That sounds classy. Okay, I think I need just straight up pure Baylor brown now. Just gotta be mindful of the palette placement. Maybe like some kind of color scheme involving gray will help the kind of glowing details of the 00 pop more, Nathaniel. I'm leaning more towards that, your like gray and tan color scheme. Oh, but if you have those water slides though, that's a fair point. Yeah, I can't really speak for the accuracy of how I'm blending everything on my fake non-metallic metal techniques here, but I'm liking how it's looking. I just wouldn't use this as a guide for how to do your own non-metallic gold. Maybe check out Don Serratos' channel for that. He has a good tutorial. I think Alfonso Giralde's Banshee, or no, Alfonso Giralde's Banshee is someone else, I think. They have probably have a pretty solid non-metallic metal gold tutorial. Okay. I think we can just add one last bit of golden yellow. Yeah, nothing wrong with painting those clear parts as well, Nathaniel. I've been known to do that before. I gotta make sure this doesn't run everywhere crazy on my palette. And I gotta be really careful with this glazing in general. Ah yes, Marco Fersoni, can't forget him. I'm sure he's got a pretty solid tutorial on non-metallic metal gold. And yeah, that his voice is very entertaining to listen to in that way. He's very stoked about explaining whatever he happens to be explaining. I definitely got those vibes from his videos as well. Now that's a tasty highlight. Buttery, you could say. Oh yeah, I'm happy with how this is turning out. Well, at least I'll have this arm done by the end of the stream tonight. But if I have this arm done, then that means all the color, or the plan for all the colors on the model will be more or less figured out, so the other sections will probably go a bit faster. Well, what do y'all think of this gold blending? Sorry, I don't know why the camera's autofocus is being so rough. Let me check where its autofocus point is set to. Okay. Maybe it has more to do with the distance. Ah, yes. Always gotta manage that. The thinner runs out. Well, maybe we just have to... Gotta call the gold done at some point. Or the shading done at some point, otherwise I'll never stop. You know? I think we just need a bit more of the brightest highlight in a few spots. Can't forget here. Okay, I think I'm gonna call the gold done on the arm. Why, thank you, Mr. Givens. The experimentation does pay off. That's why it's important to experiment. And thank you, Ethan and Nathaniel. I wonder if I should have just had this on a clip the whole time, you know? It's probably the safer way to paint it. So now we must edge highlight around the shading we did on the turquoise and gold. So I'm just gonna consolidate the WAP a bit here. Just make sure this doesn't run into the other colors. I don't know if other painters do this with their wet palette, but I like the wet palette paper I have right now, and I don't want to have to cut more. So I want to use the wet palette paper I do have as long as I can. Though I saw Don Serratos the other day, or not the other day, like a while ago, post about some kind of wet palette he had with a reusable paper or something, or like you could wash the paint off and reuse it, which I thought was pretty fun. Kind of want to get me one of those. Alright, so we haven't painted turquoise in a bit, so let's do that. The first edge highlight is pretty much just a 50-50 of scaly green and arcane blue. What are we at? We're at 2 hours 9. Maybe I don't think I'll do the purple on the arm tonight, but I can definitely finish all the gold and turquoise on it. We'll do that, see what time it is. I can't stay up too late. I got a bedtime, you know? Alright, let's mix in the arcane blue before we grab the piece. Fenrir will have a cameo in my upcoming video. And it's gonna be... Yeah, it's gonna have... I don't want to talk much about my next video, but... It'll be a little silly in a different way than my last one was. But I'll still like go along well with my, or like be a good follow-up to my Monster Energy Marine video that I did last. Yet you'll catch a glimpse of the finished Fenrir as well as the other LBX kits in my next video. But in classic Millennial model Mayhem fashion, I'm not gonna tell you when my next video will come out because I don't know yet. Maybe one day I'll have my stuff together better. Right now the only thing I got together is just this painting and streaming this Fenrir kit. Alright, and these edge highlights, I definitely don't want to mess up on. These are important ones. Oh, and thanks, Supperfish. Missed your comment earlier. And I'm only paying close attention to getting good coverage on the areas that I think need it. I might skip a couple, like edge highlighting a couple areas on this first pass if it looks like they still like have a good enough coat from before. This is more just laying the foundation of like the final edge highlights that will get the brightest and really make it look, and really tie everything together, I should say. I'm a little torn about the line here not being like a perfect black panel line. Maybe I'll do something about that. Maybe I'll just leave it, I don't know. Sorry, I'm not talking much right now. I gotta concentrate decently hard at this part. Mistakes have more of an impact. I think I got that first pass down though. Just splashed a bit of water onto my keyboard. That happens pretty often here. Sometimes you gotta build 5 kits a day, then it takes a week to build a high grade kit. Yep. Would I open a PO box for fans to send you stuff? I mean, that sounds like a fun idea and everything, but right now I don't really have the resources, time-wise or money-wise, to do that. But you know, if the YouTube thing gets to a point where I'm doing this like full-time as like, well, not that I'm not working on it full-time now. Some weeks I am, some weeks I'm not. But you know, if the YouTube thing gets successful enough to the point where I can like bring on more people to help me, you know, it'd be cool to do more engagement type things in general. And you know, I got lots of stuff I'd like to do for the channel, but it's just a matter of having it grow more and giving me more, which will allow me to get more resources to help do things like that. So I guess my answer to your question right now is no. But not an indefinite no. And I also live in an apartment. There's not a lot of space here, so I can't have a bunch of fans sending me boxes full of stuff that I don't have any space for. I'm flattered that you would think of that though. Yeah, the autofocus on the camera is not, I'm gonna play with the settings a bit to maybe fix it, but it's not quite designed for painting models on stream. It's very specific. Okay, and these ones we don't go for full or do we go for full coverage on this edge? Yeah, because we're doing at least 2 more after this. So this one we just need to focus on doing a smaller line like this. I can just brace the barbecue skewer against my forehead. Yeah, Amazon wishlist. That's like similar to the idea of a PO box, but kind of different. Yeah, I suppose I could set one of those up. Well, I mean, like I have an Amazon wishlist, but I suppose I can make it public when I'm ready. And I'm hoping within the next couple weeks I'll be able to figure out and do more long-term planning for the YouTube channel and get more fun stuff like that planned. Right now, there's a chance I'll have to do less YouTube, so for like working a regular job reasons, but you know, there's always a chance that YouTube can become the thing that pays the bills. Still figuring all that out right now, but you all should just continue to enjoy the content however you like. If I have to go work some other job, I'm not gonna stop the YouTube. It just means I'll have less time to work on it. I do like doing these streams a lot, and I like making the videos a lot though, so you know, being able to do the YouTube thing as a job would be pretty cool, not gonna lie. But who wouldn't? Or like, I feel like lots of people, that's their dream job, right? This is the YouTube job. So I feel like lots of you would understand what I'm trying to say. As annoying as the autofocus on this camera is being tonight, it's doing way better than my old camera's autofocus would have done. Good job for a micro pen. I don't know what you mean by micro pen. What's really good? Millennial mod squad? Arf, arf, arf. G squad, stand up. Oh, woo. Yeah, there's some other cool. The G squad's more of like, or it's like pretty casual these days. More of like a content creator support advice group, but I think I still have the list of G squad people at the bottom of my channel page. And yeah, the G squad still exists as a thing, and you should check out the other G squad people because they're good content creators. Jetto Hobby has been working on some pretty cool 3D printing stuff. If you follow him on Instagram, you should check it out. I'm glad you enjoy the deadpan meme lord. That's definitely what I go for. You ruined your goof, Bo. Oh no, you glued an arm piece backwards. If you use super... Oh, Tamiya plastic cement. Were you gluing it to be like monopose? Yeah, when I'm gluing kits, I try and glue like the minimal amount of pieces possible, but... I'm sorry to hear that, but... I've definitely ruined kits before, so you're not alone. The important part is to not get too discouraged. And let's mix in, I think we're going for almost pure arcane blue for the second last edge highlight. Does the arm still look decent enough for a pose when it's straight if the elbow doesn't bend? Can you salvage it at least in like, you know, you could get it into some sort of pose and then glue it into a diorama and just leave it? Or you could salvage the goof by like damaging it up even more and working it into a diorama, so it could be like the wreckage of a goof that's either overgrown or like blown apart on a battlefield. That's one way to salvage something. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify what I was saying earlier. The G Squad still exists as a thing. It's not like canceled or anything, but it was never like a big exclusive like content creator super group or anything. It's always been fairly casual. And being in the G Squad definitely helped me a lot in my content creator journey and continues to help. But it's not a group that's for hanging out with Studio G and getting shoutouts and stuff like that. It's a group for trying to help each other improve as content creators, which it's definitely done for me. I think for this bottom part, where we're only going to highlight the bottom part on this arm section. Oh, is that why you were gluing it, to take off the mold lines, Bo? That makes more sense. Alright, see ya, Cyber Scorpio 94. Thanks for coming by. Oh boy, I'm about to hit 2 hours, or 2.5 hours, people. And I'm not too tired yet, so I'm gonna keep going. I think I'm gonna finish the edge highlighting on the turquoise here, then I'll do the gold edge highlighting. And assuming that doesn't take too long, I'll call it a night. If I can get the camera to focus. Alright, for our final turquoise highlight, we will just mix in a bit of white. I wonder if the white from way back earlier... No, that's real dried up. Yeah, no, that's a good idea, Bo. If you're angry at something, it's good to put it down and step away for a while and come back to it. I definitely do that sometimes. Definitely had to do that on projects that I did for videos on this very channel. No, apparently Mr. Givens has a different approach, though. Alright, and this last highlight is just the very sparkly tips, more or less. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever thrown a model in the trash. Even like that one chibi dragon I was planning on painting for a while. Dropped that on the floor and it shattered into a handful of pieces. I didn't trash that one. I just put it in a baggie and then put it in like just a spot where I won't have to look at it for a long time. Maybe one day I'll try and fix it, but it's pretty low on the priority list, to be honest. I think probably some of the times I've gotten the most angry because of hobby frustrations is probably related to like airbrushing troubleshooting. There have been some dark days. Alright, have a good night, Superfish. Thanks for coming. I keep wanting to say Superfish. Okay, I think that's probably good enough for the turquoise highlights now. So it's time to move on to the gold highlight, which will be the last one of the night. Yeah, the plastic boneyard, exactly. You can't just throw away valuable bits like that. Okay, and for the gold, the first highlight we'll do is just straight up Baylor Brown. Oh, plamo therapist, you made it. Mayhem mode has been active for 2.5 hours, baby. Fair enough. Superfish. I don't know if you when exactly you came in, plamo therapist, but I'm doing. I just finished the turquoise, and the gradient on the gold is done, so I'm just gonna edge highlight the gold, and that'll probably be the end of the stream. Probably my bedtime. I'm seeing a couple areas near the black. I should probably just tidy up right now, so I'll do that. Then the gold. There's a little bit of bonus painting in there. That's an interesting analogy for airbrushes. Let's use this one. Oh, now that this non-metallic metal gold is dried and stuff, it's looking, I'm liking how it's looking. Especially from a distance. Hello, Third Coast Gaming. Or Dr. Nick, as you say. I'm assuming that's a Simpsons reference. And I could try and paint some black in the line here, but I don't. Okay, this brush looks... It's not bad. There's a black line. Okay, anyways, now I'll get to that Baylor Brown that I put on the palette already. Oh yeah, Third Coast Gaming? What 40K stuff? Glad my channel can help you out that way. Now I really don't want to mess up in these parts. And this gold turned out better than I thought it was going to, that's for sure. Should you buy a master grade full armor unicorn for 100 though? 100 Canadian? Why, yeah, I don't know. You shouldn't buy a full armor unicorn because the unicorn's overrated. I don't know if 100 is a reasonable price or not for that one. I think there's a real grade full armor Gundam as well. From what I understand, the real grade unicorn and the master grade extreme unicorn are like the better ones to build. And the master grade, or maybe it's the master grade Verkaz, the hand grenade. I don't know, I can't quite remember. I don't get that excited for the unicorn, so my eyes kind of glaze over when I hear stuff about it. When Taz talks about his 1/100 Gushin, though, I'm all ears. You know what I'm saying? I'm like supporting or embracing the barbecue skewer against my face, but I had to like thread it through my beard. I thread it through the sideburns, and now it's just against my forehead. It's just what painting with the skewers is like sometimes. Yeah, you know I won't, you know I'll never shut up talking about the Gushin until I get one for myself. Well, then I definitely won't shut up about it because I'll just be talking about customizing it. There's shorter ones, like shorter Gushins? Are you talking about the Manrotis? I can't remember if those are like shorter. Okay, almost done this first round of Baylor Brown. Sorry, I'm just concentrating. Looks like you're all having a good conversation about master grades though, so I'll just let you keep going. Oh boy, 2 hours 46. Maybe I'll make it to 3 hours. I haven't even gotten up and do my stretch yet. It's gonna be one heck of a stretch once this stream's done. Alright, now we're mixing in some of that golden yellow for the third or second last edge highlight. Is this the smallest brush? Yeah. I think, well, this will be the second last edge highlight, probably. 60 40k guardsmen in a row? That's too many. My body would definitely hate me after that. Well, which shorter ones are you talking about then, Taz? Knights of Gwyn themed kit bashes for Gamma Wolves. That would be a pretty epic looking team. I would have a hard time deciding whether to root for them or the Transformers. Alright, back to the hand. $80 Poxwalkers, that's impressive. Okay, now I'm really gonna have troubles talking for this. This is the hold my breath section of edge highlighting. Not that I haven't been holding my breath in the other sections. And I'm still remembering to take breaths, don't worry. Let's just hold my breath like when I'm doing the most important strokes, you know. And with this shade of yellow, I'm starting to be somewhat selective on the edges I actually apply it to develop it as, you know, like a proper highlight. I'm liking how this gold is turning out, people. I'm gonna have to do non-metallic gold more often. Or non-metallic metal gold, I mean. Man, non-metallic metal is just as hard to say as Millennial model Mayhem, am I right? Okay, it's time for the final one. Probably just mix in a teeny bit of white. Man, there's a lot of just marathon batch painters in the chat right now. Yeah, exactly, about all the painting horror stories are coming out tonight. Yeah, Andrew, you are. I'm on the last step for tonight. Sorry I couldn't get to the purple. Like always, doing the gradients took longer than I thought it would. But I'm happy with how they look, so it was worth spending that extra time. Okay, here we go. You tried to paint a squad of fire warriors using a mother color. Violet from Willy Wonka. I mean, that sounds pretty fun. And that's an interesting idea, and like mixing that color in with everything else. I wonder if it just needs to be like tweaked a bit to make it so they don't look like Violet from Willy Wonka. Or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Sorry, I hit the mic with the barbecue skewer there. Hopefully that didn't destroy your ears. And I'm sorry for those who are disappointed that I didn't do a single burp this stream. I was drinking tea instead of a carbonated beverage. And, you know, last stream I broke my record and did 5 burps total, so felt like, you know, I could get away with taking a break from the burps in this stream. Just like the videos, I don't like to do burps in every single video because then they'll get old, you know? I gotta keep you all wanting. Yeah, spilled extra thin cement. Yeah, that's like the equivalent of all the stories from the miniature painters spilling their bottles of Null oil wash because it comes in like a tall pot that's just really easy to tip over. Spilling the Tamiya thin cement though would be a bigger pain in the ass. And also harder to do because that like, or it's like not quite as tippable as a bottle of Null oil. Alright, I think that's the gold and the turquoise finished, so if you're here for most of the stream, you kind of got an idea of what the model Mayhem painting process looks like for those two colors at least. What do y'all think? Yeah, exactly, Bo Smith. Null oil. We've all got our Null oil stories. I don't know when the next, I'm gonna remain consistently inconsistent with my stream schedule and just not tell you when the next one is gonna be, because I'm not sure when the next stream's gonna be. I have to figure out some non-YouTube stuff, and I have to do a decent amount of non-YouTube stuff over the next, like, 3 days or so. But, I need to finish this Fenrir, so stay tuned for pictures on it. I might do one more stream with it. Depends on how I'm feeling. I do paint a bit faster when I'm not streaming, so if I need to just get it done so I can get this video out, this might be the last stream for it, because I also want to get back to streaming Krotgar. Don't think I've forgotten about Krotgar and his thick dinosaur boy Grimlock. Definitely got to keep painting them. Oh, it's usually when you put the brush back in, right? That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh no. You dropped a mini on the wet palette. I've done that before. That's never fun. That's like just as annoying as like accidentally touching a wet spot of paint. Alright, well thanks for coming to the stream again today, everybody. Appreciate it as always. And yeah, just make sure you follow me on the social medias to find out when the next stream will be, or just to find out what I'm doing. And yeah, thanks for keeping the chat nice and interesting tonight. You're being lazy about twisting clothes when you're cutting and fitting small stuff. Yeah, swipe it while dusting off the work area. Yeah, I've done similar things. Okay, well y'all will have to save your hobby horror stories for next time. So thanks again for coming to the stream, and I am now officially ending the stream, so bye bye.